Hey everybody, we are here talking about one of our favorite board games.
Zooloretto.
Zooloretto, okay. We love to play board games in our family. Connor, what's your favorite board game?
My favorite board game is Castle Panic. My favorite board game is Ticket to Ride.
So, Castle Panic and Ticket to Ride, two of our favorites. And today we're talking about Zooloretto. In Zooloretto, each player is building their own personal zoo. And the point of the game, the way you win it, is to put the most variety of animals in your zoo to get the most paying customers. At the end of the game, we add up the points, and whoever has the most has won it. But we're getting ready to open our copy of it for the very first time. So guys, why don't you go ahead and dig in?
And here we have the instructions, and
we have some player mats there.
And we have boards, and another board, and animals.
Oh, those are the different animals and coins that go into the game.
Here are trucks.
What are the trucks for?
Trucks are to carry animals.
Okay.
Here's this bag.
A bag. Okay, so in this game, each player will get their own zoo. Actually, yeah, this is the player board. Each player will get their own zoo, and they'll try to put animals in this section and animals in this section, and then they try to build 4 food huts in these different sections. Each one of those brings in more paying customers, which gets each player more points. In the game, we have flamingos, cheetahs, kangaroos, monkeys, pandas, elephants, camels. And this looks like it's the currency for the game, maybe the money you get once you've earned some of those paying customers, and a cool little bag for tiles. The components in this game certainly seem excellent quality. So tonight we're going to have our first playthrough of the game, and we'll come back later and tell you what we think of it. And so briefly, I thought I would show you a little bit about how the game is played. This is the player board. Each player has one of these in front of them. The game comes with 5. It's a 5-player game. And so you have the player board, you have the expansion. This is a part of the board that can be built later to enlarge the zoo. But you have to spend money to do that. These are the trucks right here, in which the players are adding tiles which consume of animals, like monkeys, or money tiles, which brings them money from the bank. And then there are these food cart tiles that also bring you victory points at the end of the game. And ultimately, the way you win this game is to have the most victory points. So on a sample turn, what you would do, you would start out, and here we are several rounds into the game here. I've already got kangaroos and cheetahs in my zoo. So if it's my turn, I reach into the bag and I pull out a tile, and I pulled out a monkey. I get to choose which truck this monkey goes on, and so I'm going to put it here with the other monkey in this coin, and then that's it for my turn. The bag would pass to the next player, and they would reach in, pull out another tile, and so player number 2 pulls out a camel and adds it here. And then the next player, they have the option, you have this option on any turn, of foregoing this phase. You don't have to draw a tile from the bag and add it to a truck. You can choose a truck that you would like to add to your zoo. And so let's just say that I choose this truck here, and even though it only has 2 animals on it. I bring it here, and I want this cheetah. So I add it to my cheetah enclosure in my zoo, and then I take this camel and I create a new camel section down here. I can only have kangaroos here, cheetahs here, and camels here. If I were to have gotten a truck that had, say, a monkey on it, that monkey would have to go into my barn. And animals that are still in your barn at the end of the game cost you victory points. Another thing you can do on your turn, instead of pulling a tile from the bag or choosing a truck to add animals or food carts to your zoo, is to take some of your money tokens that you earn from paying customers and you give them to the bank. And so one action you can do is you can spend money to add this extra section to your zoo. So now, if I had, let's say I had a monkey in my barn like before, I could take, and I had money enough to do it, I could pay one money to take this monkey from my barn and add it here. So now I've been able to expand my zoo. The way you get victory points at the end of the game is that you get points for each of these sections that you have full of animals. If this section here is full, I get 10 points. If it's full except for one square, I get 6 points. This section here is worth 5 if it's full, and it's only worth 4 if there's one open space in it. This one is worth 8 or 5 if you are -1. And then this one here is worth 9, but you get 5 points for it if you get all of them in there but 1. At the end of the game, you subtract the points of the animals you have in the barn, you add up the points you get from your different food carts, and you add up your points from the different enclosures that you have in the game, and the player with the highest score wins. It's that simple. One thing of note that makes this game very accessible for young children is that there's no reading involved. So if you have a child who is not reading yet or isn't reading at a high level, this game is perfect for them. It requires no reading on the cards. Our children, Riley and Connor, are learning to read simple sentences right now, and so they're in the process of doing that. So this is a game that they can pick up and have no stress in regards to reading. This game does play 2 to 5 players, and I think it would work equally well with 2 to 5. It's a fast-paced game. There's a lot going on each player's turn. With the whole mechanic of just drawing a tile from the bag and putting it onto a truck, that moves quickly, so players aren't sitting around a lot in between turns. Something else that makes the game move at a rapid pace is if I choose this truck to bring to my zoo, well, the next player can go ahead and draw a tile and add it to the next truck, or they can choose their own truck to take back to their zoo. And I can be loading up my zoo like so while the next players move on with their turns. And so there's not a lot of downtime from turn to turn, which helps keep the kids' attention. I have to say, of all the games we've played with the boys, this one keeps their attention better than any of the others. They love Ticket to Ride, but games like Ticket to Ride, there can be a lot of downtime on your turn. And if you're 20 or 30 minutes into a game, it's very easy for them to lose attention to the game and to become restless. Don't get me wrong, Ticket to Ride is a great game and we love it here. It's just that this game keeps their attention a little bit better. Not to mention, the theme is fantastic. You're building a zoo, you're putting animals into the zoo, and what kid doesn't love that? I've referenced this as a kid's game several times now, but don't get me wrong, there is some strategy involved in this game. There are more money actions that I have not talked about, ways to get animals out of your barn so that you don't lose as many points at the end of the game. There is some strategy here. It's not deep strategy, but there is some strategic thinking that is involved, especially for a 5, 6, 7-year-old who is new to these types of games. This is not one of those roll the dice and move your pawn to the next space type of a game. This game does require a little bit of thought and therefore some educational value as well. And we are back. We just finished our first playthrough of Zooloretto. Boys, what did you think of the game?
My thought is carrying all the animals in the little toy trucks, then getting money and buying the animals and selling animals and putting them in the barn and putting them in your zoo. And that's it.
That is it. Was it fun?
Yes.
Was it hard?
No.
It wasn't too hard?
Yeah.
Okay. Connor, what did you think of the game?
My favorite part was getting money, buying stuff, and having fun, because that's my very favorite part about games, is you just have to have fun, and that's what I like about games and projects.
Cool. Okay, would you guys give this game 2 thumbs up? Do you think your friends should play it too?
Yes!
All right. Well, that does it for us in our first playthrough of Zooloretto. It is a big hit in our house. All right, guys, say bye.
Bye!